Hello everyone, let's experiment with the Olegtron 4060 signal generator a little bit. Now my electronics knowledge is not that deep, so I usually don't think when patching the Olegtron. I'll just try stuff out and listen to the sounds or watch the waveform on the oscilloscope and then decide if it's good or not, or if it's usable for what I want to do. Now even though it might look like a guitar pedal, it's not, so do not step on it. It's a little signal generator box with a 9-volt battery inside. You have a frequency knob, a voltage starve knob, an on and off push button and an on and off switch on the left side. And to connect it to other gear, you have a 3.5mm 1/8" TRS socket on the left side. Now on the right side here you have the patch field, which you can use to connect other gear to the Olegtron or to just patch it with itself to create signals, which you can use as audio sources or as control voltage sources or just electricity sources for toys or motors or whatever you have. In this video I'd like to experiment with audio range signals, which you can hear, so you could use it as an oscillator or as a control voltage source for your analog modular synthesizers or other analog gear. I've connected the TRS socket to my oscilloscope and also to my audio recorder. And the first thing I have to do to hear something is connect the tip of the cable to the internal divider, which is basically a square wave oscillator, of which I can adjust the frequency with the frequency knob. There are several divisions, so you can get different octaves from the different patch points. So let's start by patching one of those divider outputs directly to the tip socket. And then if we switch it on, we can hear a square wave. And now the voltage starvation knob is turned to the left, which means it starves the voltage, which means it reduces the voltage. And when I turn that up again, all the voltage comes through the IC, which generates the signal, and we can hear a pretty clean square wave. And we can also see that on the oscilloscope. Now if I patch into a different divider output, we get different octaves. Now using the frequency knob, we can change the frequency of the internal oscillator and thus change the pitch. Now if that frequency doesn't go low enough, we can use a capacitor and patch that between the capacitor and common points on the patch field, and this will lower the overall frequency. So using this one, for example, it goes really into LFO range, so we can just hear some clicks, and if I take that out, our pitch changes to the regular pitch. Now I can just try it another capacitor with a different value. And that goes really low as well, but not quite as low as the other one I tried before. Okay. And it also goes the other way around. If you patch a resistor between the resistor patch point and the common patch point, you can increase the frequency. And like this you could also use a photoresistor to control the pitch with light. Now that's just the basics of creating a signal. The really fun part starts when we start connecting the different divider outputs with each other and thus creating shortcuts. We could use an LED, for example, and plug that into just some random divider ports. Now let's just add another LED in just another pair of random divider outputs. And yet another one. Of course we can still control the frequency with the frequency knob. we can still starve the signal of a voltage. Okay, let's take those LEDs out and try patching a capacitor between the points. And let's take another one and patch that from the starve point into a divider. Okay, let's add another one. And now let's add LEDs. And we also have RGB LEDs, which have 4 pins. And then let's try adding a transducer somewhere if we have space. Okay, as you can see, you can just connect some random stuff to the patch field and you will always get some kind of sequence or some kind of waveform out of it. And this is what makes the Olegtron so much fun, I think, even without much of an electronics knowledge, because you can just get some really cool results from just random patching. And because there's so little electricity or so little voltage coming from the Olegtron, you can hardly damage any of those parts. So it's also safe to patch it randomly. Okay, this time let's try out patching transistors in there. And that gives us an instant sequence. Now let's combine this with the Arturia MicroBrute synthesizer, which accepts control voltage and also external audio signals. Okay, I've just patched the output of the Olegtron into the audio input of the Arturia MicroBrute. So when I press a key, we can hear the sound of the Olegtron coming through the filter. And now we can of course add some oscillators from the MicroBrute to that sound. Okay, that was just a little jam you could do. But instead of an audio signal, we could also use the Olegtron's output to control a filter cutoff frequency, for example. Let's try that out. So those are just the oscillators from the MicroBrute. And now I'll patch the signal from the Olegtron into the filter patch point. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope you got a good basic overview of what the Olegtron is and what you can do with it. For more, check out the Olegtron YouTube channel and their website. If you have any questions, feel free to post them below this video in the comments section. And of course, like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot for watching and see you soon.